Hey, I'm Freddie Allen. Welcome to Rock Hoarder Revelations. And so it's another summer. I've been planning to do, a lot of things with these rocks for a while now. Last summer I didn't really get anything done that I was going to. Got sidetracked and had to get a job and do some other stuff. So this kind of all just kind of got put on hold for a while. Trying to make time to get back to it. I started collecting these rocks just, really, I don't know what it was about some of them, but I really just became very interested in wanting to learn about rocks and how they form and grow and crystallize, whatever. And got a little carried away from anything I ever planned in the beginning. I found a lot of really interesting rocks, so you wouldn't really know by looking at them necessarily. Most of them look like pretty ordinary rocks at a glance. You have to get up and look at some pretty close detail to really appreciate a lot of what they have going on. And they do have a lot of stuff going on. A lot of them I think are some volcanic and some possibly like some kind of shock type rocks or something, some kind of impact effects on a lot of them. And like I said, a lot of like volcanic type rocks too, like this magma rock, and it's got some alloys and stuff in it that are you can see were melted, have the flow effect to them, whereas the rest of it, they're all covered in leaves and weeds and crap from sitting around forever. But yeah, many types of rocks, different stuff, weird things like the white markings in here. That's all natural, and that's not anything anybody painted on or did anything weird. Those were natural grains in the rock, a different mineral. A lot of really weird stuff in some, and a lot of really hard rocks too. Different, very hard minerals and stuff in them. Just all kinds of different things that I've collected, and like I said, it doesn't really look like much. When you just look at them, look like pretty ordinary rocks, most of them. But they are all very unique in their own ways. I will get to a lot of them hopefully this summer. Be able to get some detailed. Georgie, it's enough. Anyways, hopefully this summer I'll get some good videos made, detailed videos of a lot of this, like a lot of the very unique ones that just have, like I said, a lot more going on than it looks like at just a glance. And I mean, I got tons of rocks everywhere, they're piled everywhere, and this is just what I have here in my little work area. I have a cement mixer used for tumbling large stuff. I break a lot of larger rocks, like either crush them or use a chisel and hammer and break them in fractures that I can find in them or whatever. Try to separate any, crystals or stuff like that might be in. So yeah, when breaking them, we get a lot of stuff that goes into these tubs and buckets and gets sorted from there. A lot of different kinds of, like, even gem quality stuff of every type you could imagine. I live in southern Arizona. I'm not far from Bisbee, not far from Tombstone, the Gleason, Cortland, and a few other pretty well-known places. The Bisbee has the lavender pit, is known for turquoise. Well, it's a copper mine. It used to be a copper mine. Is well known for its, world famous turquoise. And we have quite a bit of turquoise here too in the nearby area. And I said Tombstone is also nearby, and Gleason, and a couple other small mining towns, Cortland, Pierce. Wet these down and get a better look at. Some of them won't look much different. Some of them are completely different when they're wet. These are a lot of rocks that I'm planning to break, crush, break, fracture, whatever it takes to see what's in them. And I'll take you inside in a minute and show you a lot of stuff I've found so far in breaking rocks like this out of the gym quality type stuff. But yeah, in this one I got a lot of smaller. There's a lot of agate and different types of quartz, like chalcedony and chrysocolla, and lots of different stuff like that. And then also, like I said, turquoise and other copper minerals, and we got all these different metallic, or like metal bearing rocks or whatever, alloys, and different types of jasper, and of course quartzite and other stuff like that too. And then there's a lot of these rocks that are a lot of like kimberlite type looking rocks, and there are some very old extinct volcanoes in the mountains behind us here. A lot of people don't know that, and so they don't realize the types of rocky kimberlites and like coronado and different types of rocks like that, and other carbon type rocks that get mistaken for a lot of other things, more common things. But yeah, this, as you can see, just all kinds of stuff. I tumble this stuff, crush it, tumble it, some of it, polish it, and just do all kinds of stuff with it. Little experiments as I learned, and I've been studying them pretty much about 7 years now, and I've learned quite a bit. And then at the same time, the more I learn, the less I know, it seems like, because there's so many just possibilities and exceptions and different things that can happen, and different ways that, like, several ways that one mineral type like quartz can form or grow, and and the same with like tourmaline and garnet and beryl and spinel, corundum, and even diamonds and silicon carbide and stuff. There's so many different ways that it can exist, that they can all exist in so many different colors that people don't realize. The possibilities of things. And but yeah, still lots of rocks I have a plan to get to, break and study, learn about. Want to make some videos of breaking some. A lot of these blue ones are the ones. I'm still planning to build a waterfall. I was going to do it last summer and then never got to it. Like I said, I got busy. I had to get a job and kind of had to put all this stuff on hold. And I was able to get this small like office building type. I'm still working on setting it up. So make some more room to work and expand a little bit. And but yeah, this is all the kind of stuff I'm trying to get back to. Just like I said, so many different things that and then trying to explain it all to you, and I just can't keep track of a lot of the details and facts for each. And I try to, you know, come up with an idea for video or demonstrations and stuff like that. And I mean, I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to use YouTube very well. I don't know how to use the camera or devices. I don't know how to do a lot of things, but I'm trying. I'd really just wanted to show these rocks. Like, there's so many amazing rocks here that just never get seen by anybody, that I just wanted a way to show them. And like I said, these are basically like the raw, rough boulders that the good stuff comes out of. I'll break all the, break these, crush them, and find stuff inside that amazes me every time, what can be hiding inside, an ugly, ordinary looking rock. Some real treasures. I think Arizona's full of gem treasures, different types, rare gems that people don't even realize that are here, I don't think. I mean, some people do. There's quite a few people around here, neighbors and stuff, that also collect rocks. Or I don't really consider myself a collector necessarily. I hoard them. I stockpile them, or I don't know. I don't just have this obsession with them, but I'm trying to stop gathering more rocks and just dealing with the rocks I already have. So I've got so many that I really have no need to go find more, but I still find myself, I can't help it when I, see something very interesting or rare or just unique that I've never seen before. And then, like I said, a lot of them are even, very similar, the same, but still unique in their own way. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just can't pass some of them up. And some of them are, pretty ordinary, really, but just the things that interest me are not always the same. Sometimes it's the structure, sometimes it's the colors, sometimes it's the texture, I don't know. Sometimes they look like other things to me, like this right here looks a lot like what I've studied, about dinosaur eggs or whatever they call them. And and I got all kinds that look similar to different things I've seen, and with their hardness, like the hardness on a lot of these rocks is crazy, like an 8.5 or higher on a lot of them. Like rocks you wouldn't even think, you would think it would just be, you'd be able to scratch real easy, and scratch on them and scrub them with very coarse aluminum oxide and silicone dioxide sandpaper, and I mean, scrub them and scrub them and scrub them, and then wipe them off, and nothing, not a change, not a scratch, nothing changed. So I don't know what some of them are to be so hard, but some pretty rare combinations anyways, I think, and just lots of stuff going on. I mean, originally, like, I started like getting, more involved in it. I thought I could probably maybe make a living, make a little money off of them, and do something I like and make a living, but I've yet to make any money off of any rocks. So I still have to work a regular job, still live paycheck to paycheck, And just, you know, like any normal guy, but some of the rocks I have, you would think you'd think somebody would be very wealthy if they found some of the rocks that I found, but I don't really know how to go about selling them, and I like them so much too. I just don't know if I would want to part with them, but I know I need to. I have way more than any one person can ever really need or even enjoy. Really, I can't completely enjoy any of them because they're just like overwhelming, like ADHD. For every one that I think is the best one I've got, there's always another one that probably tops it in some way or another. And I have probably at least 100 different rocks that I'll show you that I'll tell you is my favorite piece, or but I have a lot of favorites, and I can't, like, they're just all incredible in their own way. But so yeah, this is what I got pretty much outside how it starts off. I'll take you inside and show you what the obsession is of mine, why I can't stop breaking and studying more rocks. Like, because I never know what I'm gonna find next, and it's exciting to me. But yet, like I said, it'd be more exciting if I made a little money at it. But it's still exciting to find natural, like rarities, or treasures, or jewels from nature. And I believe I do find quite a few. Some of them are hard to recognize at first when they're in the rough, and some of them, I've had so many different kinds of crystals and gem minerals and stuff that other than the hardness and a few others, details, it's very hard to distinguish one from another. In the form that they all grow in, like, intergrow together in crystal systems and assemblages and different minerals that grown together and sharing, different crystal structures in their normal typical structures would be, or whatever. Really complex stuff that is almost impossible to distinguish from one another without some really highly sophisticated analysis. So yeah, I'm gonna take you inside, show you the treasures I get from breaking all these rocks, and then hopefully you'll keep watching my videos. You'll like and subscribe to my channel. I know it's not the best channel, but I do have a lot of really neat rocks. I think it's not their fault that I'm not the most qualified person to be discovering them and studying them and making a channel about them, but it is what it is. Okay, let's go inside. So that brings us in here to most of this stuff is, a lot of stuff that I have tumbled some, polished some, not polished some other stuff, just kind of tumbled it. Got so many different things. Like I said, I'll just let you look and not even try to identify everything because it's just too much. Like, and then smaller, polished, tumbled stuff. The most recent that I've been messing with. Very colorful too. And aside from just tumbled stones like that kind of stuff, quartz and chalcedone and turquoise and all that stuff, azurite, malachite, chrysoprase, all kinds of stuff, tiger eye, too much to even name off, like I said. And aside from all that, those are all like basically tumbleable rocks. And then it gets more, I like breaking these other more crystalline and finding transparent and translucent colored crystals of different kinds, like quartz and tourmaline and garnet and beryl and spinel and all kinds of other stuff in between, I'm sure, and rare stuff and mixtures and intergrown shocked minerals, you name it, every color. Like this right here is a host rock. I'm sure it took quite a bit of shock, high pressure shock. And like I said, hopefully this summer I'll get to get more videos made, or I can get more detailed videos of, you know, some of these individual rocks and crystals and xenoliths and all kinds of different types of some type, or like clastic, and then a lot of crystal structures. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, they're all like, this rock is made up of thousands and thousands of crystals of different sizes, and keeps repeating like in the same crystal habit to make the same. Like this right here is basically what that is trying to form. And a lot of these larger rocks like that seem to be trying to form the same type of structure, the same basic structure. I don't know. This is lots of gem rough gravels and crystals, all kinds of stuff that I have sorted, and not sorted, but like, you know, kept separate. Like every time I break a certain rock, you know, I'll try to keep all the pieces separate to an extent until I get too overwhelmed and have too many things and lose track, and then stuff gets mixed up. We got lots of stuff though, lots of colors, all natural minerals, mineraloid, metamorphic shock, all different types of minerals. A lot of stuff going on in them. Shock effects and different tectonic effects, and eruption event, or effects, all kinds of different stuff, all in for one locality, or, you know, within about 100-mile radius. All these rocks were found in. least most of them, 90% of them or more, in the same 100-mile radius. And the ones that weren't, they weren't from very much farther away, just outside of that radius, I guess, if any. And a lot of the things, shapes and structures, and that I always just kind of thought were just random, the more rocks that I break and study, and the fragments, and start realizing that there's really not too much that's random about any of these rocks. Like, everything is very, very specific, or calculated, or like, no matter what type of rock or what color or whatever, I can pretty much find repeating pieces identical, like, even if they seem like they're just random shapes, or like, amorphous, even, like, have no structure, no order to them. That they do actually. There's a very specific piece of a larger structure. Like, every piece is a specific piece of a much larger structure. And then there are what are they called? Like a single monocrys, whatever. A few. I do like a lot of this is you'll see the tourmaline and some garnet and beryl and a few other things here in this mix, and then corundum and spinel, and some pretty well crystal, like garnet crystals, the green one there. Pretty. And a lot of the orange and red I do believe to be corundum mixture, corundum and some spinel and probably some garnet and possibly some orange diamond. And that's just pretty much just all like raw gem, rough gem quality, cuttable. Most of it. Some of it, probably got too many flaws, or too, not the right saturation or zoning, color zoning and stuff. And these are some smaller rocks, similar to the larger ones, just smaller atomic scale, but basically the same stuff going on in it, just everything smaller, microscopic, but still the same structures. And you see I got like cube crystal there, another cube crystal there, natural cube crystal. The red one in the middle there is like a what do they call it? Tabular type cube. You see that square that way, but it's still like a single layer. And then these blue cubes, we kind of got some resorption effects going on, but definitely some cubes. And then I believe this to be a very exquisite ruby, and another piece of it. This was from the same rock. Both pieces here, that piece and the large one, they were one rock that was an inclusion in the middle of, like, all this red and orange stuff here was one large mass. intergrown mineral rock, and this red one was a large crystal like inclusion in the middle. And then you have the octahedra, pyramidal, bipyramidal, whatever it's called. And that's what they say a natural diamond will look like in its crystalline form. This is pretty hard. I don't know the exact hardness, but I know it is at least an 8.5 or harder. At least, but likely harder. And as the same with this, a lot of this. This here is a different type of octahedroid, like a fragment, but it's got more resorption. And this orange one here is actually the same piece or fragment, like I was talking about earlier, has a larger structure. It's pretty much the identical resorption and structural. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, they're pretty much the same crystal, just a different rocks, of course. But that's pretty much why I am stuck on collecting rocks, or hoarding rocks. I think I do alright. I have some pretty decent specimens, and I'm sure I have many that are probably pretty rare, unusual, and high quality. Anyways, until next time, I hope you keep watching my video shorts on 101 reasons for my rock hoarding obsessions, and I hope you like them. At least I hope you'll like and subscribe to my channel. Every subscriber helps. Maybe I can get enough viewing time, I can actually monetize this channel, maybe sell some of these rocks, or do something, make a little bit of a living at this, and have it not just be for nothing. But anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care, have faith, and God bless.